This is a song I wrote for a lost dog. It's called Here Girl. Come on, girl, here, girl. And she was in the front yard, so it was a very... I was born young. Some say too young, you know. Doctors. I was born December 8th, 1979. 70s were crazy. You know, everybody was pooping their pants and boobs everywhere. It's like every nap I woke up, there was just poop in my pants, you know. And sure enough, boobs in my face. I was like, yeah, I think I like it here. My parents conceived me on a waterbed, which explains my fear of drowning while my parents are making sweet love. Which is something I have to live with every day. Knowing that the seas were angry that night. And despite rough waters, my dad, the captain, managed to get all hands on deck. If you call my phone, you're gonna get my voicemail. It's by design. I want you to get it. I don't know how many times it's gonna ring because I'm not gonna send you to voicemail. I want you to find it. And when you find it, here's what it says. Hey, it's Nick. Give me a call back when you get this. And then you're gonna leave me a 10-second long empty voicemail that sounds a lot like you're wondering who called who. I want to be happy, you know. When I see somebody that's happy, I tend to get distracted. I watch them, and I saw this guy recently in public, and he had it. He was happy, you know, and I was watching him, and finally I walked up to him and I said, "Sir, what's your secret, you know, to life, to happiness?" I'll never forget what he said. He said, "I'm 7 years old." And I said, "Well, how'd you do that?" And he said, "I'm scared." And I said, "I'm scared too, man. It is a crazy, it's crazy out here, you know?" And I'll never forget the last thing he said as he ran away. He said, "Where's my mom?" What a deep kid, you know? Yeah, where is my mom? Where is my mom right now? And to find out, I'll have to unblock her. Problem is, I don't know how to do that. I get into settings and I get all excited. I assume it's in general. I don't know. All I know is that I just end up changing my wallpaper. I keep my phone set to military time, just so my phone respects me a little. I also put it in airplane mode like 3 times a week, just so it thinks we're travelers. Military time, such a bummer, you know, the troops, that they only get one 420 every day. And it's so early, you know what I mean? It's just, but that's why they made military time, because our government does not want our troops getting high in the afternoon. All right. They say that's how wars start. I said, all right. You can't get stoned and then all of a sudden it's 1621. It's just like, that doesn't make sense. They're asking, what's time, you know? If you guys don't mind, I've got one more military time joke. Or do I have 13? I guess we'll never know. My 35th birthday, I was in the kitchen having a little bit of a party. I was taking a little break. I had a towel over my shoulder. That's how I make people think I do dishes. Just a little towel over the shoulder and hang out in the kitchen and everyone thinks you're cleaning up. This guy walked in. I never met him. Must have been a friend of a friend or something. We got to talking about kitchen stuff like guys do. He said to me, "Isn't that crazy that cupboard is spelled with 2 B's and not a P?" I thought, that is crazy, you know? I totally thought there was a P in there. And he goes, "No, that's one of those Mandela things, you know? The Mandela Effect," he said. And I said, "Okay, well, yeah." He goes, "I guess it makes sense." He goes, "Yeah, what, are laptops made in a lab?" And I said, No, they're made on laps. You're right. Cupboard, that's what we say. It must be true. Anyways, 3 years go by. And then on my 38th birthday, I'm in the same kitchen, different party. And the same guy walks in. And he just casually says, "Hey man, that thing I told you about cupboards, it actually is spelled with a P." And those are 3 years I'm never gonna get back. Just living that cupboard lifestyle. Have 5 dentists ever agreed? Like, I know generally 4 out of 5 are on board. It's just that 5th dentist that just puts his foot down and says, "Not today. Sorry, I don't like this toothbrush." Babies are being born. Nothing to do about that. I've tried. They keep coming out. And problem is we don't get to go in the hospital and check out all the new babies anymore. Before the pandemic, we could just make our way into any hospital we wanted and just be like, "Where are the babies at?" And they have to show you. So now we don't know when babies are being born. It's hard to even know it's happening unless we're on Instagram. Right? That's how we find out babies are being born, on Instagram. People have a baby and then they post a photo of it on their Instagram page. They put the baby's name. If we're lucky, they put the weight. But they don't always put the weight. Which it's just like, just tell us, you know? You're gonna get a DM from me. And if you're gonna feel real dumb, just tell us what your baby weighs. But they always give us the name. And what do you do with that on Instagram? What do you guys do? Do you like it? Not me. I love it. I take that baby's name and I get that baby a Gmail account is what I do. Just that baby's name at gmail.com with no underscores, no periods, no numbers. It's the way God wanted Gmail to be, right? Pure. Without sin. No numbers, you know, no underscores. You know, sin. I'm holding on to about 47 baby Gmail accounts right now. But I'm not a monster. I do not keep them forever. I wait 6 months. I let the family get home. I let them get a sleep schedule going. I let them feel like they're out of the woods for a second. And then on a Wednesday night, around 8:30 p.m., they're gonna get an email from their baby. It's a very simple email. No subject. All body. Which is how I like my babies. And it just says, "Let me know when you want to talk money." I'm a dad. And like most dads, I do have a kid. She's 5, which is what we named him. She's a good little boy. Actually, she's 5, just turned 10. I am so sorry. I actually come from a long line of dads. on my father's side. My mom's side skips a generation. My son listens to me when I talk, which I find fascinating, because I don't know what I'm talking about, really, ever. Recently, we were in my truck, and I was driving him to drop him off at his mom's house, and we just had some ice cream. It was in the middle of the day. And I said, hey, buddy, maybe don't tell your mom about the ice cream, because you know what they say, loose lips sink ships. And he said, what does loose lips sink ships mean? And I thought to myself, I got no idea. I don't know, man. I heard people say it, and I thought, I'm going to give it a shot today, you know, and I didn't think anybody was going to be asking questions, so. I didn't say that, though. I said, son, that's a great question. What does loose lips sink ships mean? Here's what it means. A long time ago, a gentleman set sail. He was in Europe, and he was looking for a new world, new land that nobody thought existed, except the people who'd actually been living there for quite some time. And then, son, he found that used land. He named it New, called it America. It's where you were born. You're an American. You earned it, just like we all did. Son, there's a part of that story a lot of people don't know. Before that guy took off, there was another ship that took off. And they would have found America first, except everybody died because the captain told his mom about the ice cream. So loose lips sink ships. Are you on Team Dad, or are you a little snitch? Because I'll tell you what snitches don't get. Trampolines. And as far as I can tell, buddy, I'm the only guy that you know that knows where to buy them. And when that day comes, that I take you to Costco, using my friend's membership, because your mom won't let me use ours anymore. Because we're divorced, son. And I thought this would be a good time to tell you that. Your mom and I won't be sharing a Costco account anymore. I don't understand allergies, but I get them. I just wish I knew why, you know, it's a mystery, I guess. My grandmother taught me a lot growing up. She taught me to be polite. She said to say please and thank you. And I've always tried to do that, you know, and as I got older, I realized that people don't really mean it when they say thanks all the time, you know. They say thank you, but it's just fast, or they text it, they email it, doesn't mean anything. But if somebody writes me a thank you card in the mail, all right. First of all, how'd you get my address? I barely know it. But if they send me a thank you card in the mail, that means that they mean it, and I'm gonna send them back a you're welcome card every time, because no one's expecting the you're welcome card. They're also not gonna expect the gift that I put inside that you're welcome card that they're basically gonna have to write a whole new thank you card for. And I put the same gift in every one. It's very simple, Starbucks gift card. You know, they're free, they're up there at the front of the counter. I mean, you can grab as many of those as you want, you know. No price tag on those. I take them home, I put them inside my you're welcome cards. And then I send them out to whoever thanked me. And at that point, it's a waiting game. Do not call them. They're gonna call you. Most likely they're gonna be in Starbucks. Most likely they're gonna be at the front of the line. They're gonna say something like, or exactly, Nick, did you put any money on this Starbucks card? And you just say no. That's a gift card. You can put as much money as you want on that. You're welcome. I fell in love for the first time when I was 13. Her name was Cindy. They don't name them like that anymore. And she broke up with me, she broke my heart. And I remember I got home from school that day and my dad was there. He'd gotten off work early, he'd read about what had happened. And I'll never forget what he said to me. He said, Nick, if you let a bird go and it comes back, then that's a carrier pigeon. And you gotta check that thing for notes. And I said, but Dad, what about Cindy? And he said, yeah, she's not coming back. And that was good advice from a good dad. But I did write Cindy a song. It's called Butterflies. It's the first song I ever wrote. She loved butterflies, so. Anyways, here it goes. Do you ever think about butterflies? Ooh, I do. I think about you. You're like a butterfly. I wanna capture you in my net and stick a pin through you and keep you forever and do research. This next song is about how I always wish that I had a drummer. 1, 2, 3. It's a quick one. Here's the thing about having a baby that no one's gonna tell you. Is that once you have your baby and it starts to get older, you're gonna have to start meeting a whole bunch of new adults that you would have never met and that you have nothing in common with, except for that you had sex roughly around the same time. A lot of the dads have Toyota 4Runners. That's they have, the cool ones have TRDs, which we don't know if that means turd or not, but we do know that they're begging to be called a turd. They have that ladder on the back. You know, the ladder on the top of the car that we can all touch? You're gonna meet a lot of those dads. When I was just like you. When I was about, by the way, thanks for coming. We had no idea you were gonna be here. What a bonus. I mean, when the staff back there was freaking out. There's a lot of buzz about this show backstage, by the way. Just the staff, they're all like, when's it over? Why aren't we getting paid? It's like, this is pro bono, all right? Which is also one of my U2 cover bands. Not bad. I regret it, and there's a band called U2, the lead singer's name is Bono. Just kidding. It's Bono, but I'm pro bono. So when I had a kid, I remember when I was like younger, and I thought to myself, I can't wait till I get older, and I get to wake up really early and make somebody else's lunch. I just always thought, I can't wait for that, you know? Like, I can't wait to get up at like 6:30 and make a lunch for somebody that I don't even know if they're eating it. Like, I don't even get to see them eat it. They're gonna take it to school, and who knows what happened at that point. But I was making my son a lunch, and he busted into the kitchen, and I was in the middle of making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I'd got the peanut butter laid out, and he says, hey, please don't put any nuts in my lunch. And I said, nice one. Nice one, son. Well, I'm already making a peanut butter sandwich, so why? And he said, because I want to eat with my friends in the nut-free zone. Who are you hanging out with? Like, when you leave this house, who are you associating with? My son has an iPad, and I realized that I'd never looked at it. And so I went on his iPad, and I realized that he had YouTube. And I thought, oh, maybe he's looking on YouTube. I don't know. So I went into YouTube and looked in the history, and sure enough, he was. And I'm looking through the videos that he's watching, and it's like Lego, Minecraft, you know, really cute stuff. And then there's one video that just really stands out. It's a 30-minute video explaining that the Earth is flat. And the red line is to the end. Like, he devoured this video. And I'm looking at it realizing, I don't think I've ever told him that it's round. Like, it's never come up at breakfast or any other time. It's just, And I'm realizing that might be the first thing he ever heard. And if I was him and I heard like that the earth was flat, I would look down and be like, yeah, it looks pretty flat to me. So now I have to approach my son like this round earth hippie and be like, hey man, it's round, bro. It is, brother, yeah. I am 44, and on my last birthday, the day beforehand, I decided to cancel my birthday plans. I had a birthday dinner with some friends put together, and I just thought, I don't want to do that. I want to just do something for me, get myself something. And I put a lot of thought into it, and I thought, what's one thing that I've always wanted that nobody could get me? And I realized that I've always wanted to lose somebody. Not death, but like somebody's following me and I have to lose them. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to be chased on my birthday. Just like, I want the law after me in any way possible. Anyways, I figured out how to do it and I put it together and here it goes. The day before my birthday, I called a private investigator and I hired him to follow myself. I said, hey, my name's Glenn with 3 N's. And I need to hire you to follow this comedian named Nick Thune. He's actually a real great guy. But I think he's up to something and I don't like it. So if you could follow him and let me know what he's up to, I'd appreciate it. So here's how my birthday went. I woke up on my birthday at 8 a.m. I went to get coffee at 8:30. That's when I got my first text from the private detective. It said, he's getting coffee. This guy's good. I said, what's he wearing? He said, I don't know, some weird jacket. And I was like, it's probably not a weird jacket, Knowing him, it's probably taking a big risk, The next text I got from him said he's been in the bathroom for a half hour. And I didn't realize it had been that long. On my birthday, I went from getting coffee to pick up my friend Kevin, because you can't lose somebody and not have someone like Kevin there to see it. Pulled up to Kevin's house, the first thing he said is, where'd you get the convertible? I said, I rented it for my birthday. Now put your scarf on. He said, do I get a beret too? And I said, no, I'm the only guy wearing a beret today. Why do we have a convertible, scarves, a beret? Oh, I don't know, maybe because this private detective has some sort of a telephoto lens camera and he's gonna get some sick pictures of me and my best friend driving around on my birthday looking pretty French. Bonjour. Pardon my French. What's the best backdrop for these photos? The ocean. I live in California, you guys don't. You might not know this, but right next to the ocean is the coast, which is the best place to drive by the ocean, up and down the coast. Never go into it. So I started driving up and down the coast. I pulled off into some view areas, vista, they call it, a vista point. And I started feeding Kevin grapes. I put him up on my shoulders like we were in a pool playing chicken, except we weren't in a pool and there was no one in front of us. I just wanted my best friend to get the best view that a best friend could ever have. I know that these pictures are gonna make me look like a hero. After I feel like the private detective probably got enough photos, I start driving up the coast and I start driving fast. I start getting anxious. I start messing with the rearview mirror. I start passing people. Finally, Kevin notices that something's not right, and he said, what's going on? I said, I think we're being followed. He said, by who? And I said, the guy in the Tercel. He said, I don't think that's a Tercel. I think it's a Camry. And I go, Kevin, I don't know, okay? It might be a Corolla for all we know. It's a Toyota sedan. We haven't seen the back of it. They make too many sedans. He said, he's not following us. I said, yes, he is. Watch. And I turned right, and he turned right. Kevin said, that's nothing. I turned left. He turns left. Kevin says, that's nothing. 6 turns later, I'm pulling into a small neighborhood. Kevin is freaking out. What the hell are you into, man? I say, don't worry, I know what to do. I've seen it in a movie before. And I pulled into a driveway, turned all the lights off. Turns out during the day that does not matter. Turns out you just ruined someone's gravel. And you look like you don't know where you live. So I pull out of there and I realize I'm not gonna lose this guy. He's a professional, this is what he does. What's the other thing that people do? They confront. They confront the person that's following them. So that's what I'm gonna do. On my birthday. So I pulled into a grocery store parking lot. The guy parked 6 spots down. As I turned to Kevin, I handed him the gun. I said, hold this. He said, where did you get a gun? I said, I don't know, Kevin. Do you have to know everything? At a 7-Eleven, how about that? It actually was in a 7-Eleven parking lot. I set up a fake buyback program. We got a lot of guns off the streets today. I got out of the car and I started walking over to the private detective. As I got closer, he realized that I had seen him. He started freaking out. He started rolling up his window and moving around, and I was like, hey, we see you, it's over, the charade's up. Kevin, get the gun! Also, Kevin, get the torture stuff we brought! Yeah, we brought torture stuff, sir. Want to tell me who hired you? He said, I can't tell you that. I said, why? Because he's paying you? What, like $100 or something? And he said, yeah, actually, it's exactly $100. I said, all right. How's 125 sound? I was gonna tip him anyway. He said, fine, his name's Glenn with 3 N's. Now, that's weird, because I know 3 Glens. But they all have 2 N's. Call him. Call Glennon. Let's figure out why he's following. Why? Let's call him. And he said, I can't do that. I said, all right, $150. Call him right now. He said, fine. All right, and he calls Glennon. And wouldn't you know it, but as he puts the phone up to his ear, the phone in my pocket starts ringing. And he's looking at me like, this is weird timing. And I go, yeah, sorry, I gotta take this. And I never broke eye contact with him. As I answered the phone, I said, gotcha. And he was like, what? And I said, yeah. I'm Glenn. And I'm Nick. Shouldn't you figure that out? You're a private detective. On my birthday. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.